In regards to black women not being protected, let me first state the obvious. No man should put his hands on a woman. We desire protection, but sometimes what we don't understand is that true protection comes with a level of control. Bodyguards are a good example.
Do not be deceived by her calm voice. She sounds like she knows what she's saying or she wants to say something very important, but not really. I'm going to play the video for you all to watch to the end, but this is just like a follow-up to this particular matter that happened sometimes last week. This woman with that a man hit something on her face. Everybody's coming out to talk about their opinion, who is at fault, who is not, and all of that. Let me roll the clip for you all to watch to the end, then I'll come back.
In regards to black women not being protected, let me first state the obvious. No man should put his hands on a woman. We desire protection, but sometimes what we don't understand is that true protection comes with a level of control. Bodyguards are a good example. A bodyguard will make their client leave from a dangerous place. The bodyguard has to know all the details: who, what, when, where, why, and how. And the client has to listen to the bodyguard and follow the instruction that the bodyguard gives them. It's really an agreement between all parties involved. When the person who needs protecting does not follow the instruction and the direction of the protector, it puts the protector in a situation where they're more likely to lose their life. I have 4 brothers and a father, and I listen to their instruction even when they're not around. They have told me to stay away from certain places if I'm by myself or if it's late at night. They've also advised me not to be drunk or high in certain situations. Even though my brothers, my dad, and the men in my life protect me, I in turn protect them by listening to them and following their instruction. They don't have to come to my defense in some wild scenario, because if I listened to them, I wouldn't have been there in the first place. And this is another thing I feel like is pertinent to say, and I know folks ain't gonna like this one. I don't have sons right now, but when I do have sons, I'm gonna teach them that there's a difference between diamonds and dirt and rubies and rocks. Rubies and diamonds are often in jewelry stores. They're in glass cases, they're secured, there's an alarm system. There's a lot of layers of protection because those things are valuable. But you could pull over to the side of the road and find some dirt and rocks. Expecting a man to risk his well-being, his future, and his life on someone who does not see value in themselves or the man is asinine. That's a very asinine thing to ask. All I'm saying is, protection comes with a little bit of sacrifice. It comes with a little bit of control. And me personally, I feel that what I have to sacrifice and the amount of control I have to give up is 100% worth it to receive the protection that I've been getting my whole life.
Well. Another pick me, Michelle Lopez speaking. You're gonna teach your son the difference between diamonds and dirt. Seriously, sis? Seriously. A lot of people, like, she got a lot of backlash. Like, people came for her, they dragged her. Hey, she was dragged to the mud. She was dragged like I better pass my neighbor generator. Like, she was dragged mercilessly. But then, after she was dragged, she made another video. Let me play the video for you all to watch. Let's watch the video together.
I made a video about black women and preventative protection, and how if you want someone to protect you, you're going to have to listen to them and try to avoid being in dangerous situations. And because you guys didn't like what I said, I received death threats. People wish that someone would bust my car window and pistol whip me. People wish that some people, or that they themselves, could find me and hit me with a brick. All these young girls that are out here that are still wet behind the ears but are aging like milk and bananas, calling me old. I'm not expecting y'all to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, because I know y'all don't care. But I'm gonna say what I want regardless, because I don't receive my self-worth and validation based on what people say about me online. I proudly grew up in a time before all of that, and my self-worth and validation is based on my principles and my character. Some of y'all wouldn't know nothing about that. So I'll say this again, for the people that have sense, preventative protection is the best kind of protection. For every other crime that exists, we understand that preventative measures is the best way to avoid said crimes. If I don't want my car broken into or stolen or vandalized, I'm not gonna leave it unlocked with valuable things in my car. I know people personally who have gotten their car broken into several times. I've never gotten my car broken into, knock on wood. If I don't want to get robbed, I'm not going to go to the ATM late at night by myself, because that is not a wise decision to make. And you guys can say, well, that still doesn't stop people from getting robbed or their car getting stolen or whatever, but it greatly minimizes the risk. You feel me? Same thing when it comes to condoms and birth control. Condoms and birth control are not 100% effective, but it significantly minimizes the risk of you getting an STD or you getting pregnant. In addition to taking preventative measures by not being in dangerous places by yourself, actually listening to the men that tell you to take preventative measures is another way that will help to ensure your safety as a woman in this world. And to the ladies who have never had a man love them enough to try to prevent something bad from happening to them, you honestly have my sincere condolences. And to those of you who say, why don't you just tell men to stop abusing women? Why don't we hold them accountable? If telling someone to stop being an abuser, a thief, or a murderer worked, then the prisons, we wouldn't have a need for prisons. None of that would exist. So excuse me for living in the real world. I'm a very proactive kind of person. We can't change what happened in the past or things that have already happened to women, but we could help minimize the risk of those things happening in the future.
All right, beautiful people, my name is Maria Davis and you are welcome back again to another interesting video. So let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. Let's have conversation down in the comment section. What is your take? Are you in support of her or you're against it? You can either be one because this channel, either you agree or disagree. It's okay to disagree, it's fine. Just put your thought down in the comment section respectfully. I have interesting stitches. People actually share their opinion and which was making sense. I'm going to play their stitches for you all to watch. Then at the end of all the stitches, I will share my own little sense about it.
Why don't you just tell men to stop abusing women? Why don't we hold them accountable? If telling someone to stop being an abuser, a thief, or a murderer worked, then the prisons, we wouldn't have a need for prisons. No.
Cut the BS out. Firstly, just because your tone is low and soft doesn't make what you're saying authoritative or sensible. So let's get that out of the way. Now let's address the meat of what you're saying. And wait a damn minute, because she understands that telling men to stop assaulting women is not enough to prevent crime, but can't seem to wrap her head around the fact that telling women don't dress like this, don't go out at night, don't do all this, is also not enough to prevent crime. So she understands. Now see, the thing is, male-centered women, you know, they do a lot of mental gymnastics, right? She's really trying to drive home this whole point about why you need to listen to the authority of men, but forgets the fact that there is this violence because men in themselves are perpetrating said violence. So you are bestowing this protector valuation on them, but also forget that what are they protecting you from? You know, give me the answer. Men, exactly. It bewilders me, actually.
Yep, our fellow bird has started chirping again. And all I could say is my, how the turntables. First off, as someone who took geology in college, mainly because I didn't want to take the other sciences because I got a D in chemistry. Diamonds are rocks. Diamonds come from rocks. Diamonds are created with pressure. You know the quote, pressure makes diamonds? Yeah. So this whole thing about diamonds and rocks, bitch, we all rocks. We all the fucking same. So your analogy don't even fucking work. And after all of that preaching about you being a diamond and, you know, that means you are still in danger of being harmed. Because in the words of Double D in the cartoon Ed, Edd and Eddy, millennial flashback, only a rock can break a rock. We are all rocks, and you are just at risk of being harmed as a diamond, as regular rocks. And then a video that I saw, it was a stitch to her video when she was talking about rocks and diamonds, and the woman was saying that diamonds are created for the sole purpose of like being sold and being trapped in a case. So it's like, you diamonds are literally there like for the sole purpose of men. That's what it sounds like to me, because you're like, oh, men will protect you and whatever. Yeah, because they put money into you. And it's so funny when I guess someone was like, oh, I hope your car gets broken into. Oh, I want to do this, that, the third with you. And she's like, then start talking about preventative measures and to reduce the risk of getting robbed. I don't go to an ATM at night. I'm like, broke people get robbed all the time. You get robbed literally anywhere. Like, yeah, you reduce the risk of getting robbed at an ATM, but there's always a chance of you being robbed. And then she's like, I don't leave my car unlocked, so that reduces the risk of my car being broken into. Babe, break in. In order for them to get in, they have to... Right. And tell them from the leather on them car seats, you have a nice ass car. So you are even at higher risk of being broken into. It is so funny because you're a diamond, right? But even as a diamond, if I walk around with a rock and I walk around with a diamond, I'm more likely to be harmed for this diamond. Like, it's so funny. And all of these men that are in your comments like, this is the type of woman I would protect. What are the true odds of them being at the right place at the right time when you're getting harmed? What are the odds of a random man protecting you? That's what we're talking about here. Like, because these men, first of all, they were like, oh, I'd only protect my wife, children, parents. And then they're talking about protecting you. Then someone in the comments is like, did you know her? And they're like, why do I need to know her to protect her? Oh, so you do get the point. But anyway, girl, best luck to you. You know, you keep chirping for the white folk and you keep performing for them men's, even though in ornithology, typically the male bird is the one performing to be picked, but I guess it's opposite day. Anyway, good luck.
Ladies who have never had a man love them enough to try to prevent something bad from happening to them.
I know I'm sick of her face too, but bear with me. Because I had to address, I didn't appreciate the way she was talking to those young girls that she said, and I quote, were aging like milk and bananas. You think you grown. You ain't. I'm 51. So to me, you got Similac on your breast. So let me tell you, from one daddy's girl to another, from one woman who's had the same love and protection and instruction drilled into her as you did by her father, by her uncles, and every other older man in her family. So I know of what I speak, but this is what you're going to learn soon. You are going to be at a family function and you are going to walk into a conversation that you should have never heard. You're going to hear something about those men that you love and revere, and it's going to rock your shit. And you will never be able to look at those men the same way. And that's when you start putting the puzzle pieces together. Wait a minute. Those rules and instructions they gave me weren't for protection. They were for justification. These are all the reasons men have always given to justify why they did the bad and horrible things they've done to women. And you're going to realize that the men in your life that you love and admire have been part of one, if not all three of these scenarios. They have witnessed a man do something bad to a woman and they didn't stop it. They have somebody close to them that has done something bad to a woman and they've never called them out on it. Or they themselves have done something bad to a woman and they've never been held accountable, nor have they taken any type of accountability. And the other thing you're going to realize is those rules and instructions also embedded in you shame. Because if and when, and the when is more likely than the if, it does happen, the first thing you're going to think is, what rules did I break? Wait, did I do this right? What do I have on? How much did I drink? What did I do to cause this man to do this bad thing to me? And you won't tell anybody. You'll just keep it to yourself. That's why most rapes aren't reported. So yeah, that is the moment that you will put the whole puzzle together and you will hear what everybody else has been trying to tell you over these last 2 videos. That although you love and revere your father and your brothers, they are still just fucking men.
Well, well, well. If it's not the consequences of your actions, I will never, ever, ever in my past, present, or future life feel bad for the backlash that pick-me-ass women receive. Like, listen, God got to come down and say, Casey, you got to feel bad for them before I give a fuck or feel bad. You decide to get on social media and push a dangerous narrative because you thought you were the exception. And they quickly showed you why you're not. And now you want us to have a little bit of sympathy? Feel bad? Who? I tell you one thing. I bet you learned your lesson this time. I bet you'll think twice about recording some bullshit and posting it on the internet.
When I do have sons, I'm going to teach them that there's a difference between diamonds and dirt.
You've already failed as a mother and as a woman if you plan on teaching your future sons that some women deserve protection because they are more valuable. The only thing you're doing is raising the future predators of our society, further perpetuating violence against women. So for the sake of all of society, please do not have any kids at all. And if that's what the men in your life have taught you, then they have failed you too. Because what they should be doing is working to create a community where they're teaching other men not to be violent against women, so that women will not need protection from violent men. Instead, they brainwashed you into thinking that if you take extreme measures and you alter your life, that you might not be a victim of a violent man. In all of history, did it matter if women were rocks or diamonds when 90% of violence against women have been committed by men? Think real hard about that one. It doesn't matter if we're a fucking stripper or we're a fucking nun.
It doesn't matter!
It doesn't matter if we're out at 2 a.m. or if we are in the comfort of our own home. As a collective, we experience violence from men. We are not safe. Ladies, we are going to have to continue to do whatever it is that we can to protect ourselves and protect each other, because we cannot depend on these weak-ass males and their brainwashed pick-me's. Stay safe.
But when I do have sons, I'm going to teach them that there's a difference between diamonds and dirt.
I mainly want to address you talking about what you would teach your future sons. But first I want to point out that you shared with us that your father and your 4 brothers warned you, cautioned you to never be high in certain areas, and also to not be alone at night, which affirms that your father and brothers know that it is all men until you know it's not. So just want to point that out. But the fact that you are saying that you would teach your sons, hypothetical future sons, that there are women that are diamonds and rubies and there are women that are dirt. What are you going to say? What are you going to do as a mother should your sons decide to take what you taught them about how to view women as dirt, and they decide to treat said women who are dirt like dirt? I'm sure nobody needs to tell you how men talk about women, how certain men talk about women, how they dehumanize women, how they compare women to dogs, to B-words, talk about them say that they are B-words in music. You don't think teaching your hypothetical future innocent baby black boys that there are women that are dirt could lead to some psychological projective issues?
If you're still here, definitely you're enjoying this video. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. and all of that good stuff. Okay, put down your thoughts down in the comment section. Kindly put down your thoughts respectfully, please. You see, there are some women that they've been brainwashed. In fact, I don't. So now women are at fault. I went out at night. I'm now at fault for getting raped. It's my fault. You know, this is the thing that they try to make people feel like, oh, especially this rape thing. When you're being raped, the first thing they will go and meet the woman like, what were you putting on when you went outside? Oh, you were putting on a short skirt, or you were putting on a bomb short. That is why you were raped. They will put all the blame on the woman. And this is what some women see as normal, but it's not. What about the man that committed the crime? The man that decides to hurt a fellow human just because of his own pleasure. What about him? Nothing happens. It's good to go. The old blame goes back to the woman. And this just has to stop. I was really happy with the stitch. In short, the stitches were much, and they were so much. They were really dragged up, but most of the stitches will not fly here on YouTube. But then I want to know your thoughts about this down in the comment section. I know some people believe that you're at fault, you have to protect. Of course, you have to protect yourself because this world we are living is wicked and all of that. But when something happened, why do you have to blame the other person? So now a woman got hit on a brick on her face because she didn't give a man a number. She's at fault for that, not the man that did it. Although further news said that the woman was lying. There were lots of different news I saw later about the brick. The woman that was hit with a brick on her face was that she has a GoFundMe account, that she scams people. People now later came back to start dragging her. The story is long. It's scattered, is long. But then, I'm not even talking about the story or the woman itself. I'm talking about the situation, the circumstances. This thing happens generally that we don't even see on the internet. Especially where I am now. Someone cannot get raped where I am now, and you'll be able to open your mouth to talk. You can't even tell your parents that you were raped because they will blame you. Why are you entering the house by this time of the night? You are the reason that you got raped. You cannot be robbed on the road and they will blame you. They will blame you. So most of the time, people just decide to blame themselves for every wrong thing that happened to them, which is not supposed to be so. These men that are doing this wrong thing, they need to be dealt with seriously, not the other person. If that makes sense. As I said, I'd like to know your thoughts about this down in the comment section. Thank you all so much for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and all of that good stuff. And of course, I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.